and we think we have a relationship with somebody, and we don't know anything about them, And I think that, once you go out into the, like Cameron calls it, the never, never, and, you're forced to be in the moment, and you start realizing how beautiful that is, and how, when you're not doing that, you're missing all this stuff, and you're missing the relationship with other people. You're missing the good experiences in food. You're missing the good experiences, in everything. And that's what Baja forces you to do. It can thrash you if you're not paying attention, if you're not prepared. But if you're prepared and you go into her warm embrace, you're going to have a remarkable experience every time you go, And I do this frequently between racing and just going down there for my own fun, and then taking people down there. And it's funny because people go, oh, don't you want to go someplace else? Yeah, I do. But I barely scratched the surface in Baja, and there's a lot more to do and see and have these experiences. I also think it's timing. I think that, we're fortunate to be born here and now, and we have to take advantage of this because, we weren't born in Paris in the 60s, and we weren't born in, some part of Europe in the 50s. We were born here, in the late 70s, early 80s, and we have this special thing happening, that's remarkable, and this piece of land that's remarkable. And, I don't think it's going to be forever, unfortunately, but right now it's pretty damn awesome.
So let's do the listeners a favor here and do you a favor. We keep talking about the Legends Rally and Baja, but we really haven't. You talked about how you took this trip with Chad Ragland and a few other people, realized how much fun it was. Let's give the listeners, those that don't know us and don't know what we're talking about, because there are some of those. Let's give them a rundown on what we're talking about. What is the Legends Rally?
So basically, it's really simple. Either you have a UTV or we provide one for you.
And what's a UTV?
A UTV is a off-road vehicle, four-wheel drive. There's several people that make them now, and they're super capable. So, basically a vehicle that you can go 100 miles in any direction off-road, and it's capable of handling it. And
comfortably.
Now there's, very comfortably. So now there's, I don't know, a dozen makers of them. So you've got a lot of choice. So basically we get everybody loaded in their car. Actually, we meet them at the border and, escort them across, make sure everybody gets through okay. And then we all basically get together at or meet at Horsepower Ranch, just outside of Ensenada. It's a great location. And this tour that we're doing, it's 3 days of riding, and we take care of everything. On top of, having a full chase crew and having security plan, and we have our own paramedic. We have what I consider one of the best chefs, not only in Baja, but around, Drew Deckman, Michelin star chef, handle all the food for us. So he's cooking food as we're going along to these different locations that are sourced from these locations. So nothing we eat is from more than a few miles away. So people talk about farm to table. In Baja, it's actually happening.
So we've got the culinary component, we've got the vehicle component, we've got the knowledge. Are you at the grocery store?
Oh no, sorry, gas.
Right on.
I'm like, I just look down and I'm about to run out of gas.
We're multitasking on the Baja Sessions. I love it. There's not enough hours in the day to cram it all in, so we got to multitask. I'm with you. So yeah, in talking about this, you've got the guide component, you've got the culinary component, you've got the vehicle component, and then, I mean, Baja just does her thing. But at the end of the day, if I don't know anything about Baja, if I don't know about anything about driving, can a novice, will you bring somebody that has no off-road driving experience, that doesn't own a car, can that person participate in the Legends Rally?
Absolutely. That's the point. That's really who this is targeted towards, is that, with the advent of these vehicles, what we realized is that now, we can bring down, we brought down families that have brought their children down, husbands and wives. You don't have to know anything. We guide you through the whole process. We've had, the last one, we had a family that, husband and wife, and they brought their 2 kids, and the wife shows up and she goes, well, I've never driven off-road. I've never driven one of these vehicles. So, I said, do you want to ride with me? And I could show you a few things. And so she rode with me for maybe 5 miles. And then I turned the wheel over to her, and she drove the rest of the 400 miles with no problem. So it's designed to be, we're cruising. We're not racing, so we're enjoying the sights, and it's designed to be, easy for newbies to come and have just a stress-free experience. I mean, that's the other thing is we have an amazing chase crew, so you're not going to change a tire or a belt or any of that. We do that all for you.
So you talked about this remoteness that Baja offers, and families that bring their kids, and it just made me think of something. So I took a trip down to San Juanico, or Scorpion Bay, as a lot of people know about 2 weeks ago, and I took my 6-year-old son and my wife were in my truck, and then my father-in-law and mother-in-law were in their truck. We spent 10 days down there, and then I left a couple of days before my in-laws did, and we went north from San Juanico back up to San Ignacio, about 100 miles in the dirt, and about halfway I stopped and we had lunch, and I was talking to my son, my 6-year-old son, and this kind of stuff has become normal for him, and I tried to explain to him. I said, buddy, you go to school with people, a lot of people, that this would be so foreign to them. Some of them would probably think it's scary and dangerous, and was just trying to, he doesn't get it. He's 6 years old, but it just dawned on me that there are people out there that miss out on so much, whether they do the Legends Rally or they just take their own truck and drive to Baja. There's so much there, and it is, there's elements that I'm going to say require more attention, but to say that it's dangerous, I think is a stretch for sure. And the risk versus reward, maybe you are risking a little more to go on a 15-hour drive to a beach in the middle of the peninsula than you are to drive 30 minutes out to La Jolla Shores. Definitely you're risking more, but the reward is exponential. You can't, exponential is not even the right way to describe that.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I'm stoked that you're sharing these experiences with your son, because it's going to make him a better human being. He will understand people more. He will understand himself more. He'll definitely understand the environment more, right? And
there's no question.
What we have to be good shepherds of. And I wish more parents would do it. It's weird when I meet kids from other countries that are traveled, and they're better human beings because of the experiences that they've had. But as far as it being, the danger, I mean, look, I've gotten into trouble in my life, and most of it was self-inflicted, and all of it's been in cities. None of it's been, out in the middle of nowhere in Baja. It's kind of hard to get in trouble out there. So I think it's, people have this really, if you really look at it and distill it down, there's always been this racist narrative that's, been been sown from America about Mexico. And I've been all over Mexico and South America. In fact, I've driven from San Diego to Panama and back. And, did I have some sketchy experiences? Yeah. And some of the countries that were having civil war and things like that. But, for the most part, especially in Baja, the people are just so fantastic. And the environment it's beautiful. There is no, how can you have problems in the middle of nowhere? You know what I mean? People are happy to see you, and they'll give you, their last meal to take care of you. I mean, how many times have you had some super poor farmer walk up to you and offer you something?
Yeah.
He has nothing, and he's like, "Hey, are you hungry? Do you need something?" You know what I mean? And I'm like, I can't tell you how many of those experiences that I've had, and I was just blown away that, here's this guy who barely has a roof over his head, and he's feeding us, right? And, he doesn't want anything for it. So, it's an incredible place. You're going to have incredible experiences. And like you said, I love sharing them. There was, people that came down in this last one, and we hadn't even finished day one, and they're like, I can't believe this. I can't believe it's this beautiful and this nice here. And I asked them, I said, what'd you expect? And they're like, well, you have all these things you hear about Mexico, and most of them aren't true, and if they are, they usually are focused on the activities that go down in border towns. And, it's a kind of a running joke I have that, if you're not buying blow off of a hooker, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. So I want to kind of steer this back to you and back to family and back to what Baja does to people. And what I mean by that, I'm staring at a long-haired, bearded face and a name next to it that says Killian Hamlin. And he is he your nephew or cousin?
No, he's my cousin.
Okay.
Who showed up in California to go to a concert with my brother. And, I needed an assistant on a shoot we were doing. So I looked at him and I said, hey, have you ever been in a trophy truck? And, he had no idea what that was. And it was a really funny story because that day we went out and he rode with BJ Baldwin and he was wearing Birkenstocks, right?
There's nothing wrong with that. I used to guide wide open trips in rainbow sandals all the time.
So there you go. But no, we introduced him. My brother and I introduced him to our culture, the culture of off-road, and he fell in love with it just like most people do. And he never left. He became an integral part of our business, and helps. He's one of the key people in operating the Legends Rally as well as the Mint 400, and our marketing business with Mad Media. So he fully fell in love with it and embraced it and lives it and breathes it just like we do. And he usually rides with me. But on this, I should say he rode with me on one leg of it, but then we put Sal up front for a while, and that was like a dream I've had since I was a kid that I get to live out. It's pretty incredible.
Well, so let's do some educating here while we're going in these different directions. You've mentioned a few things: the Mint 400, Mad Media, and Sal. And there's a lot of people, obviously, that are going to be listening that know exactly what that is. There's hopefully people that are curious about either the title or have been told about the Baja Sessions and connected through other areas outside of off-roading. And I'm going to do some clarifying, and feel free to chime in here, especially when I get to talking about you. But Sal, when you mentioned Sal, just so the listeners know, Sal Fish was the original operator under Mickey Thompson for Score International, which Score International was the sanctioning body that still puts on the Baja 1000, Baja 500 off-road races in Baja. And eventually Sal ended up owning the